God bless you, everybody. Audie Howard, Fire in the Spirit Ministries here again. Coming at you again with another video, prophetic video here. As the Lord had told me, I did the state of Texas a day or two ago, and the Lord told me I would be doing more states. And so sure enough, tonight, as I was going through and doing my work, the Lord had reminded me when I had given you the testimony in my video, the last one, about how he had forewarned those around me in the state of Texas of the that massive hurricane that had came through Harvey. Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry. I just got a little off trying to think. So when I was coming home from Texas on that trip, I got on the airplane. I think it was like July 24th, 2017. And as me and my wife was taken off of the airstrip and going into the air, pretty much as we were going airborne, the Lord started speaking to me. And then he told me, he says, look towards Florida because Florida is going to be hit next. And so I did send the warning out and gave it to several. And the next thing you know, and this is 5 days actually after, Harvey, Irma came. She came in August 30th and hit the Keys of Florida and hit pretty hard. And I think at that point in time, that's like the worst hurricane that had hit Florida since 2004. But however, the Lord started reminding me of this. Now, I'll be honest, I can't remember stuff like that at times. It's the Spirit of God that has to come up in us to do these things. So tonight, the Lord was speaking to me, reminding me of this. And then he said to me, he said, do you recall that? I said, yes, Lord. He said, he says, I'm reminding you of Florida for a reason. I said, okay. He says, I want you now to cut loose a prophecy over Florida. I said, yes, Lord. So he said, get pen and paper out and start writing just like you did for Texas. So that's what I did. So I think I picked up like 4 or 5 pages here. So I'm going to read it out to you, Florida. Just pay attention and see what the Lord has to say here. Florida, thus saith the Lord your God, I'm rising up in this hour to come on your behalf, come in on your behalf. I'm going to sweep much, much more voter fraud out from under your carpets. Wow. There will be arrest warrants issued with handcuffs in the public arena. For what was done in secret, I will yell from your rooftops, and even from the rooftop of one jail in Broward County. Keep your eyes on Broward County. There will be, now, I'm going to say this, and I'm trying to give the word, but I'm trying not to pause too much here, but I want you to pay attention to something, okay? So as I was writing this, the Lord had me to highlight this because this came in the prophecy twice. So this is what the Lord said. He says, Keep your eyes on Broward County. There will be a lot of, and here's what he highlighted, shifty movement. I'm not trying to place that word with any particular political figures or anyone in particular, because I don't know truly what the Lord meant by that. But there was one political figure that came to my mind, and it's got this name involved in it. But hey, you're gonna have to weigh that one out, because I'm not saying the Lord said that, but I've seen God do these things. He said there will be a lot of shifty movement going on there. For even the law will see they are no longer above the law. Wow. I see the arrest of a very high up sheriff. For his time has come. You will know it's I am the Lord your God moving. Wow. When this arrest is made in the public arena, there's also some, here it goes again. I'm going to bring it back to you. He had me to do this again. It just blows my mind how God speaks. He says this. He says there's also some shifty, quote unquote, judges I'm looking at, and will take them out of their corrupt offices. There's 2 that I will expel. Look up to the heavens, Florida. Thank me for your beauty. Thank me for what you have. Now, the prophecy goes into a different shift, okay, guys? So, here we go. Look towards Tampa Bay this year. She's a winner. For I will stir her up with my glory and cause a new movement to come forward. Now, I don't know how much time from this point the Lord's talking, but here it goes. There will be a movement, and it will be in the form and appearance of revival. That as of Pensacola revival in the past. Will it take off after it starts? And then he has a big question mark. Pray, Florida. He puts it in a lot of, emphasis. Intercede for this, for I will use the Spanish arena to start you. There will come many that will want to take you over. Pay attention, guys. Even one huge Spanish pastor, well known, will want a part of this revival. But says, I won't permit these well-known pastors to touch that part of my glory. And the Lord's starting to speak to these pastors at this point of the prophecy, so I'm going to emphasize that before we go into it. He says, Pastors, you've had your chances in times past. But you focused on money and your carnal flesh. For I say unto you, no flesh shall touch my glory. You settled with your big fancy titles, your big fancy cars, your big fancy houses, and your bank accounts were filled. You could have had much, much more. But you chose to stop there. It's time for me to bring forth a new champion like David. One that's hungry, that's thirsty for my glory. Wow. And won't stop for the carnal things of this world. He won't even give himself a title. He's so humble, he says. But pray for him, because if he allows the carnage to come in and touch what I've started and have handed him, it will end there. Pray. He has the strength to say no and goes forward in my spirit. For he wears the mantle of Elijah. Now listen, guys, don't get religious on me. When the Lord's speaking prophecy, he's not saying this man is Elijah. He's saying he has a mantle like Elijah, okay? I don't know why I felt to stop and say this to you. When he speaks, his words will pass quickly. For I will uphold him in my strength. Pray, Jehu comes behind him and slays his Jezebels. For within this next 3 years, now it's changing, the prophecy's changing again, it's leaving that area, okay? For within the next 3 years, there will come an atmospheric change over Florida. And many places will turn. Now listen, the Lord's not saying all Florida. That many places will turn from hot to cool and even cold. Permanently. This will be a sign of me starting a new era for you, Florida. For even your shape on the map will even change. For you shall be called a different name around the world. Now, the Lord said that. Now listen, I'm not trying to bring forth a personal interpretation. I'm throwing something in there as a thing like the Lord could be saying there. I don't know, and I'm not trying to shift this thing around, but the Lord could be saying there when he says, for you shall be called a different name around the world. People may just give it a title, like here in Chicago, it got so cold over these last several years, they called it, gosh, I forget now. It was just a name that, was due to the deep cold. Or here's a better one. Chicago, the violence has been so bad, they could start calling us Chirac. Something like that, okay? So she may just be titled by a name out of verbal mouth and even through news or whatever, but he said around the world she'll be given a different name. Now, whether the name of the state will be changed, I probably doubt that, but I don't know. It could be. Okay. So I say, Florida, you will have a complete and whole new change from the inside out. I will purge what needs to be purged. Pay attention, guys. This is the very words. I'm not going to try to say any different. Please don't try to misinterpret the word of God and twist the words around. Okay? This is what he said. For even the islanders. What islanders? I don't know. Probably the ones around it's what I'm interpreting when I felt and was getting this. He said, for even the islanders will call you home. Meaning they will be coming in from their islands into Florida and calling Florida home. At that time, he said, because of your tyrannical changes, that's coming. Thus saith the Lord your God. Now listen, guys, I'm just going to tell you, when the Lord has spoken, he has spoken. I try not to cut in and break into the prophetic like that and speak the way I did, but you know something? The Spirit of the Lord allowed me for the first time to do that. Because I think that even from the first video, and I probably should have made a second continuing of that, so there would be a little more clarification on some things, not to change the prophecy. Oh no, not at all. But the Lord speaks. He speaks deep, speaks in parables, etc., etc. And he allowed me in this video to give you understanding and ideals about the wording of this thing. Because some people will take the words of God and they'll totally shift it around a whole 180 and make something out of it that it wasn't. Okay? So he allowed me to speak in some areas so you would get understanding and so it would not be taken wrong because of the wording. Okay? Florida, I love you very much. I'll tell you something. I love ministering there. I love ministering there. And yes, by the way, I was in Broward County. I enjoyed my time there. It's interesting that the Lord spoke about a high sheriff and an arrest and then etc. I'll tell you something, people. I've never really got into politics, etc. like this. And I'm really not political. I do keep my eyes on these things at times because, you know, the Lord would have us to pray and be prayerful over this nation. But however, I don't speak out of what I've seen or what I've known. I speak what the Lord said. That's it. It's nothing less, nothing more. Amen. Guys, I just want you to know we love you. Florida, God bless you. That's a beautiful, beautiful prophecy. It sounds like it's bad in some ways, but listen to me. It's not. Changes around the world is going to take place, but especially in the United States in this next upcoming 3 years. There's going to be a lot of changes, guys, and we've got to be prepared. You've got to be led by the Spirit of God. You cannot be in your flesh at this hour. I've been preaching and teaching in classes, and the Lord has had me doing one thing: teaching how to hear His voice. That's the only thing that's going to save your life in these days to come. Did I say it's this month, next month? I don't know when. Only the Father knows the timing on all this. Yes, He's given some times and years. We know in the next 3 years is going to be a lot to happen, guys. In the next 3, and especially in this upcoming year too. And we got to be on our feet, and we got to be ready and standing before the Father. And I'm going to tell you something. I love God's people, and I love the churches of God. I dearly love ministering in the churches of God. But I want to say this to you, churches. For those pastors that are in your flesh, yeah, you're probably going to get a laugh out of this, that's got their hand out and saying, give me, my name is Jimmy. Taken from the poor and never given back. I feel very bad for you. No, I really do. I feel very bad for you in the days to come. For you've had your fill. You've had your fill in your pockets. Those days are over. The Lord's going to bring forth a whole new era of new soldiers, new pastors, a whole new era of the fivefold ministry. But the truth is, let's go past that, because I'm past that, and not just my thinking, but my walk. He's actually bringing forth the manifested sons of God in this hour. Those that are willing to say, here I am, Lord, send me. Those that are not worried about money. Big churches, or in some cases not even having a church. They may be just street evangelists, but they'll have bigger followings than some of these churches that you've seen. Internet is a big thing these days, and God is sure using it to bring forth His people and put them together. You that has filled your pockets and have come into agreement with the spirit of greed and mammon, your days are coming and it's over. No, listen to me. I am not attacking the church. Guys, please understand me. I'm not. I'm only speaking to those with these specific qualities and problems. Exactly. So, we love you. God bless you. Fire in the Spirit Ministries. Be looking very soon for the next video in the next state. I do not even know at this moment what state it'll be, but just be watching for it, guys. Love you very much. Take care.